Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 6 of LCS Academy. I'm Sierra Dawn, joined here with Cubby and Rafa. A little bit of the dream team going on here, guys. It's going to be a good day, though. And Rafa, you have the green screen, you got the glasses, you're raring to go.
What do you mean? I always have the green screen and the glasses ready to go. Was there a week that I didn't have it ready to go? What did I miss?
I don't know, just like my mind image of you, you have the really cool background and no glasses, and for some reason, a guitar, and you're actually in Singapore. So it's, Cubby, how are things with you today?
I'm great. I'm glad that we're back this week. We have some good games, a couple tests for our top teams, and looking forward to getting into our pre-shows. We might have some news for the common fan at home as well.
We might to start things off, though. That's just a little teaser for later. We have a couple of other things to be hitting on our pre-show first. And first off is going to be Champions Queue and just keeping up with our Academy players in general. Cubby, I know you had a chance to catch a lot of these games. How are you feeling about the Academy players? Just look at their standings.
The Academy players are smurfing Champions Queue, guys. Look at that. 8 out of the top 10 players in Academy. Really good to see these guys taking advantage of the opportunity. And funnily enough, Copy climbing a lot in the Champs Queue standings this week. He had an outstanding week 5 in Academy as well, so maybe some of that play transitioning over. Also, Champs Queue was very fun this week as they transitioned to patch 12.13 on Monday. And guess what patch we're on today? 12.13, first competitive region in the world. Playing on that should be very exciting, Rafa.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to see some of the new champion changes come to life here on the new patch. I'm definitely excited about some junglers. We're not going to spoil them until we get to the actual graphic, but I also know that there's some other changes across the board, especially in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see how that plays out. And I just want to touch back on the Champions Queue real fast. To be able to see all the players like right at not quite the number 1 spot, but Arrow in that number 2 spot and everyone just following right after it's
he
nice
did hit
to
number
see.
1.
He did. That's true. That is true. Thank you for
Can't keep it. Bummer. Happens.
All right. Well, moving on. It is the beginning of the week, which you know what that means. It is time for our next episode of NA Talent Update.
Hello and welcome back to Week 6 of the NA Talent Update. I'm your host, Cubby, catching you up on all things developmental League of Legends. Bradley's Gangplank was pure gold on Summoner's Rift this week, unlike our Pirate. But we still have Mad Magical with our big booty of the week.
Yar! It's the big booty of the week again. Scallywags! As ye be seeing, for a big booty of the week, we got the swashbuckler in the top lane, Bradley, fighting against someone with a big ol' sword. And you know what they say about a sword fight? It's always be best to be bringing a gun. Cause you never know when your life be in peril, and you have to flash on them and ignite the powder. And that's our big booty of the week, just for you, Cubby.
On the range. Alrighty, let's check out how our stocks are doing here on the range back room. Good on that one. Alright, put a check mark on that one. We got the helmet here, good stuff. Alright, now that everything's in order, got a little bit of a treat. Let's check out how my youngins did in the LCS for TSM, huh?
Looking for a play now, a little bit of the slow, and Spica walks right back in, takes the trade for a bit, gets away from the hook. After gonna go for the ulti itself, and Spica gonna take his own ult for safety. Hope he didn't have pushed out because TB comes in. Right there for the double stun, and Soul sets up a duo.
Yep. It's gonna be all about Johnson. They just gotta go, I think. If they try and fight early, that's their best chance.
And they're gonna look for Tukui, getting slowed up, gonna package around, a lot of spots being taken as Soul drops. One so far, Alpha gonna burn the zone, he's packaged it pretty well right now. Disengaged though and adapt onto the support, but he yoinks back, well done. That is the 80 carry gun, Azina flies in, Zonia's popped, and here we go. It's time for Instinct to go for broke.
No way.
Number 4, give it to him, you better not steal this. The kill comes through in his second ever LCS game.
Yee-hoo! Gotta love seeing them critters successful on that professional stage. It's time for me to get back to work on the range.
welcome to PGCQ News and Weather. The summer season heat wave hits the United brackets of Proving Grounds. Over in Region A, a hot front of AoE making its way over to the bracket stage. In Region B, endless showers as Hurricane 100 Next comes for round 2. Down here in Group C, it stands for Group Cincinnati because Fear fares fine weather looking into the overcast for the bracket stage. And finally, in Group D, scattered showers landing everywhere but on Maryville University's Parade of Victory that started since Gateway Legends. Thank you for tuning in to PGCQ News and Weather, your #1 source of news and weather.
That's it for the Week 6 NA Talent Update. Thanks to everyone who helped me put the show together, and may your week be filled with positive gaming experiences.
Always love the NA Talent Update. A lot of good stuff in there, but I just have to reflect on the fact that Mazel has a bigger closet than me, like 4 times bigger. He can actually film his segment for NA Talent Update in his closet. I don't even think I could fit in mine. I don't think that's fair. But,
You're getting ripped off on your square footage, Sierra. You need to talk to your landlord. Get an upgrade real quick.
Does your helmet have a night, or does your closet have a night helmet in there too? Because that's some pretty good tech.
It does have some Pokemon onesies, but that's about
On
it.
brand.
But,
You weren't kidding about that budget. It's hot.
Right. I'm not kidding whatsoever. But moving on from that, something that I really loved seeing was TSM. We got to see that instinct kill. We got to see these players doing some great things. And I mean, love seeing what our players from Academy, I feel like a proud parent. We get to see them grow up in Academy, go on to do great things over now in LCS. And we have a little bit more to show you too of Soul and the rest of TSM's performance.
The goals that I had set for myself originally was that I wanted to be cement myself as one of the best Academy top laners by the end of this split and in contention for LCS spots and basically be considered an LCS level top laner by the end of the year. Fortunately, things are going, better and faster than planned.
Now, is that just because the other, you said LCS level top laner, did you get in and just realize LCS level top laner, that bar is so low that you could get in way faster than you expected?
That is a part of it. I will say that going into it, because the skill gap between Academy and Amateur was quite steep, so I could definitely feel the difference there. But for top lane, at the very least, seems like our region just kind of sucks at it. So, for LCS, I feel like a lot of the Academy tops are also interchangeable with the bottom tier LCS tops. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Get Soul on our hot take segment, that's for sure. There was a lot of strong things said in that, Cubby, but I know that you always have a strong opinion of your own.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I was tweeting about earlier in the split when talking about the promotions that Gamsu and Philip had. I had a list of 5 top laners from Academy that I felt like would be upgrades on against some of the members that were on the lower tier LCS teams. Soul wasn't even on that list, guys. And Soul stepping up to LCS. I think that game for TSM, they had a really good draft. FlyQuest did not play towards their draft. And also, I guess Soul just owns Philip. I think that also plays into it a little bit, as he got the best of him in Academy too. But we'll see if TSM ends up sticking with this roster. It'll be really curious to see what ends up happening with them moving forward in the future for LCS. And also in Academy, where they also have had a lot of changes.
Just for sure. Rafa, what are you thinking about these words? I know out of the broadcast, you're always the more wholesome one. Always like to do the positive spin. So considering there are some strong things said in there.
Dude, I'll let Soul speak the truth because he definitely has the experience of playing in both Academy and LCS now, and then he was in Amateur for 7 to 9 months before. Yeah,
So he made the jump in 7 months.
Yeah, that insane growth and insane acceleration for this guy. So I think Alex just knows how to take every opportunity to the fullest. I just want to give a huge shout out to both Instinct and Chime. I think Chime played a fantastic game against FlyQuest. Really led a lot of the charge on those picks. He's a support player that we've been looking at since his Golden Guardian split last in spring. He was
top 3 in his role consistently.
Yep, top 3 in his role. We knew that he was ready for LCS, but Instinct, man, we've been hype on this guy since his days on Mirage Esports when he was still a Cillian. He was 14 and a half years old. He was one of the youngest marksmen we had in amateur at the time, and he was calming actively and giving good communication. This guy was always destined to be on the LCS stage one day. I didn't expect it to be so soon, but for him to hit a pentakill in his second game, I mean, good shit, Tony. Good stuff, man.
Actually insane. Love to see it. And I like to see Chime doing good as well, because with these academy standings, of course, the older us are not necessarily doing the greatest, so seeing him have a little bit of a space to be able to showcase a little bit more is absolutely amazing. But top of the leaderboard here, I don't think this is any surprise, Cubby.
Yeah, so when it comes to the top of the standings, I think that we're going to have a really interesting test this week, given that 100 Thieves plays CLG in the second game on this stream today, and then C9 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to really figure out if the top 4 are ordered how we think they are, as we get to see some play prove that.
Our first match is Immortals EGA. That is another 2 teams who are trying to get into the middle of the pack, which is so... It is so undetermined at the moment because FlyQuest, Dignitas, Cloud9, and CLG are all within just 1 or 2 games of each other. And we have seen these teams either take games off of each other or lose games to each other. And so we just don't know for sure whether Dignitas and FlyQuest are going to be able to pass the CLG Cloud9 a 3rd and 4th spot at the moment, which is where I think we fairly expected them to be by the end of the split. It could be the case that by the end of this week and next week, Dignitas and or FlyQuest upset them both and come out in our top 3, top 4.
That'd be an exciting time, that's for sure. I mean, I love to see things shake up in the standings, and I thought at this point FlyQuest would be a little higher in the standings. I kind of had a little bit more faith in them, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes down. But yeah, at this point, it's going to have to go down on the new patch because 12.13 is live today. And this is, Cubby, you were saying, the first sanctioned Riot event to be showcasing this patch so far.
Happens a lot in Academy. We get a preview of what LCS is going to look like pretty soon. And honestly, some really big changes were made this patch. First off, Voldabear taken down a peg. He was the jungler that I felt like was the highest priority in the last patch. I don't know how much more Voldabear we're going to see, as they just made his strengths and weaknesses even more defined because of the changes. So if you aren't getting things done early, you really fall off now in the later stages.
Yep.
An important note, we're going to see a lot of Sivir this patch, guys. Sivir, the adjustments they made, her Ricochet, it can now hit champions more than once. You can bounce between 2 champions in lane. So Sivir has more laning prowess and also can still scale as hard as she was able to in the past. We're going to see a lot more Sivir on this patch, and I'm really excited to see how that looks, along with an array of buffs. So I'm curious. I mean, new patch always means new stuff coming out, and I'm really curious to see what these players ended up gravitating towards in the practice. Champs queue has been exciting. We've seen some more Karthus, we've seen some more Fiddlesticks, and also Evelynn buffs. Worth noting, because we do have Kevy on our stream today, Rafa, so never know when Kevy's going to bust out a specialty.
Yeah, AP junglers got buffed across the board. Evelynn, Karthus, you already mentioned. Fiddlesticks, another one that is seeing more play, even though he didn't get a direct buff. But Talia, direct jungle-specific buff, and now stunning monsters on her second cast of the Q, which is pretty nuts because that was like a Nidalee adjustment that she had back in Season 6, which made her so oppressive, being able to just continuously to kite monsters and keep herself healthier. There's a little bit of an extra buff to Elise to base stats. I don't know if we're going to see any particular junglers gravitate toward. If we still had Rosethorn in Academy, that would be like, oh man, Rosethorn Omega buff. But I think we're going to be gravitating more towards AP junglers that can scale. I still think Diana's a fantastic choice with the Bruiser build.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
X around, yeah. I'm glad it wasn't a tough sell for you. The first time you saw it, you're like, what is this? Why is he getting Bomby Cinders? Like, oh, it's Tank Diana. And then as soon as you saw the first fight with Sunfire, it's like, okay, yeah, she's still doing too much damage with just a Bruiser build. This makes no sense.
I'm a fan of that Also, with Elise, it's more likely we're going to see Elise either top or support than jungle if we do see her. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, the bruiser
her
build. Yeah.
base damage going up. That really helps. I don't think we're going to see Elise, but if we do, it's more likely in those two roles.
I mean, that could be a fun little change heading into this week, but not the only change. We teased a little bit at the beginning of the broadcast that there is a fun little thing that we'd be dropping later on. And of course, in typical LCS fashion, it is going to be in form of a meme. And first time seeing this, Rafa, this is so cute.
That's Trevor's dog, man. Or Trevor, aka Spawn. So, Spawn is not playing in Academy today on the B stream with Dignitas, but he's getting a chance to play in LCS this week, boys. So this is a fantastic time for Academy talent to get a shot playing on the big stage. First, TSM gave Instinct a chance, and now Dignitas flexing to their Academy marksman player.
And this is a change that I'm excited about. I think that Spawn's been fantastic in Academy this split. And to see him be able to get a chance, I know this is a player that has gone through the developmental system, but has been a bit on the older side. So I'm really happy that Dig, sees the progress that he's made, looks at that play and says, you deserve a chance. We're going to give you a shot. His team fighting is superb. I think in this meta, team fighting is a lot more important. Laning is not nearly as important. His laning has improved, but God, Spawn and team fights, you can just visibly tell the way this guy positions, the way this guy moves as champion. There is something special to how he plays team fights, and I'm really excited for LCS fans to see that this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I'm definitely sad that Spawn gets removed from the boys with the rest of the Dignitas Academy, but I think now being able to play on stage with players like Biofrost and River now is going to give him a chance to really flourish with a lot less room for error and people that are far more experienced.
Yeah, that'll be really fun to see in LCS, but we have an Academy show that we got to be putting on here for all the players still over in Academy. And over on the Academy channel to start things off, it is going to be Geniuses going up against Immortals. Whereas over on the Path to LCS channel, for anyone who has multiple tabs open, multiple monitors, there's going to be a couple of fun matchups over there as well. I mean, Rafa, you were talking about Dignitas and what they're able to do. They'll be playing later on to end things off over on that channel up against Golden Guardians. And I always love to see a Golden Guardians game because I always want to see what is going to shake up and what they can do going forward because there's only up to go from there. But that's just my opinion. And we'd like to hear yours as well. If you want to interact, let us know what you're thinking about our teams, about our players. You can do so with the Path to LCS channel over on Twitter as well. The best place to follow for all the Academy updates, all the best memes, all the little clips from the channels from all the players that you're watching and following. So
I'm pulling it up right now. Just
be Galaxy Brain.
Are you not already following it?
No, I am. And don't worry.
Oh.
Okay.
Rafa just revealed that his camera's inverted. It's reversed.
See, if I have my camera inverted, then if I don't have it inverted, then I can't be looking at you guys when I'm like in my neutral stance.
That's
Otherwise,
you do it for us.
Yeah, I do it for you guys.
I don't know
Appreciate
what way
that.
my camera is. See. Oh, it's right. All right, nice. Okay. I just.
It was long enough to show text and reveal all the secrets behind the scenes.
No. It's just where the dungeons are located in Minecraft that I'm playing. But go on.
Oh, that's important.
Our first match for today. There's going to be some importance on this one as well because it's going to be Immortals going up against Evil Geniuses. Neither of them necessarily having the greatest week last week, especially Immortals. I mean, there is definitely some highlights of this roster, but I mean, we didn't really get to see that all come together last week, we?
Immortals are on 08 slide, and they've done so against the top 4 teams that we have in our league. And so I think a bit of it is strength of schedule. Another part of it is just them not playing well. And I know, from talking with Chad this past break, he's like, hey, we were winning scrims and we just got stomped on stage. So it was disappointing for IMT, but they're really hoping they can bounce back today against EG.
Yeah, I mean, you said you were talking to Chad. I mean, he definitely had a thought about that he shared with the world over on Twitter. short and sweet.
Yeah,
Maybe not so
tough.
much sweet, but
Not the super week you want. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was unfortunate for IMT. I think that only a couple of those games were close. The rest were pretty one-sided. And it was a team where it's not like they were not getting early leads. It's just that the mid-game, they were making some mistakes that made it really hard for them to make sure that those early leads were being cleanly transitioned into the other stages. So I'm going to be looking out for that today with IMT to see if they've improved that over this past week.
I mean, Rafa, before we move on, any split this roster and what you've seen so far? Because it was a little disappointing what we saw last week.
Yeah, there's a couple times where Immortals had either decent early game leads, whether they were constructed in ways that are calculated. A lot of the times Pretty is following up on Chad flipping a play in the early game and trying to snowball and leverage that into something more, but then comes the mid game and Immortals for some reason are struggling to capitalize on the leads that they flip for in the early game, and we're not seeing that translation from apparently what they talk about in scrims towards the stage. Now this is a week where they're playing against in terms of schedule, weaker teams across the board, but we also know that their opponents think the same about them as well.
Yeah, so that'll definitely be interesting, but on track with interesting things, diving a little deeper on Pretty in particular, Cubby. I know you went deep into his champ pool. Share with us what you found out.
Yeah, so Pretty, this split, I mean, Pretty's champion pool is wide. We think that Pretty is still one of the stronger mid laners that we have in the league, and Pretty traditionally has been known for his mage play. His Orianna is the champ that he's really made a name for himself on throughout his entire career. But I think it's really telling what Rafa was getting at, the fact that Chad is a jungler that, feels like it needs to be activated. And when IMT plays these slower scaling compositions, what Pretty has been very successful on throughout his career, it hasn't necessarily gone their way this split. As, kind of divvying up his champ pool, he hasn't won a game on a traditional mage. I know I'm throwing Seraphine in there too. I guess she would fit support, but whatever. I think it kind of shows that IMT, they really need Pretty to get out on the map to function. And it feels like when Pretty is going to play the late game scalers, even if it may be good that game, it just isn't good for how IMT works as a team.
Yeah, it's clear that Pretty is more successful for this roster being a band-aid and ensuring that early game plays are salvaged if they're not necessarily super strong plays in itself. Whereas when we've seen Pretty in past iterations of Immortals Academy, we know that he's been able to succeed on stronger scaling late game mages because the team coordination in the early game was a little bit more coordinated, little less volatile. This roster is different. I like that it's exciting, and I like that they take risks, but I think that goes to show why Pretty is needed on things like the LeBlanc, things like the Talia that can easily collapse onto a river play. If Chad is trying to scrap with the enemy junglers, like, dude, I'm fighting this guy to the death, come or I'm gonna die. And Pretty's like, I guess I gotta come, dude. I'm coming to bail you out.
Easier to do that with Talia, so.
Yeah. Well, Pretty had a big smile on his face in that photo, and hopefully still has a smile on his face after today. Going up against Evil Geniuses, a little bit of a better week last week.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you already know.
It was a much better look, and I think specifically the thing that I really took away from last week was that last series, EG, it was a split against CLG, but they were up for the majority of the series, and Tomio's play was much, much, much improved. And I think that's been something that's really exciting for me to see, as Tomio's really committing to making these early gank plays, kind of like what Chad's been committing to for this entire split. I think it's given EG a lot more direction. They were playing more as a team, and it felt like that break week really gave EG more of an identity and some more time to just kind of figure out how they want to play, because again, this is a talented roster. Cowrie, TCL MVP Sligo, someone that has performed on the LCS stage, Surdy Tomio, two prospects that EG has stuck with through their time with EGP, took 5th, 6th in that first Proving Grounds in spring. We don't feel like this is a team roster-wise that should be bottom 4 in our standings, and it was good to see them show some of the play and at least show that, there are signs of life this split, as I think that break week did them a lot of favors.
Yeah, well, I always love to get a little thought from our players. So up next, we managed to get a couple of thoughts from Surdy about what needs to be happening for Evil Geniuses now going forward.
I think that our matches this week are going to be very easy, and it seems like Fly is kind of slumping at the moment, and Immortals as well. I think that if we're not able to 4-0 this week, it's going to be really concerning going into Proving Grounds, and I think that we have like all of the ability to do so. So in the event that we don't, it's quite simply just us letting down preset expectations. I think that the next week should be pretty easy if we stick to like what we have been able to do and the playstyle that we've been adopting in our previous games. I mean, taking games off of 100 and CLG, honestly, we should have beat them both games in both series. We just had a few little hiccups. I think that Immortals and FlyQuest are really bad compared to those two.
All right. Rafa, Surdy has some words to say about your boys.
I mean, everyone's got to have the confidence to go forward. You know, if you don't have confidence, then that's already a step in the wrong direction in order to level up your gameplay. But I will look back on Surdy's gameplay last week in some of the games, even the ones that Evil Geniuses lost. Surdy was stepping up. He was getting solo kills on his lane opponents. He was ahead in CS. He was ahead in gold, and he was cranking out damage per minute numbers in team fights as well. The problem was that sometimes the team as a whole was super far down that it didn't matter what Surdy did. But he was definitely some of the MVPs in some of those fights for Evil Geniuses, or I should say the best performing player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he shared his thoughts there, and not only decided to share thoughts on Twitter, especially his thoughts heading into today. It's gonna be a good day. I can feel it. But the best part about this is seeing Chad's response after, Cubby.
Yeah, I wonder who grabbed that screenshot, guys. No idea. Yeah,
absolutely no clue.
It was, it's fun to see some banner. I know talking with 32. I asked him, I was like, hey, you've been kind of letting loose on Twitter, just being, being more honest about how you feel. And Surdy responded. He's like, hey, I realized I was being kind of uptight. I was making a little bit nervous about my play. So I'm just going to have fun with Twitter. I'm going to go be myself. It's a way that I can relax and be confident going into the games. So I like it. And if it's going to get Surdy in the right headspace and get him to keep on playing the way that we saw him this past week, especially that series against COG, I thought he was fantastic in the Jenkins. I'm here for it. So I'm hoping for more Surdy smack talk. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, it's always better to leave the trash talk before the match starts rather than after. I is my principle, because then you are held accountable no matter what the result is.
It was like you said trash talk, but I feel like that's just like a self-motivation tweet coming out here.
Somebody else for trash talk.
Yeah. There's trash talk banter, or whatever you want to call it.
Get yourself in that headspace.
Exactly. Well, we'll see if it is a good day for Surdy and the rest of Evil Geniuses now. Going up against Immortals, it is time for a champ select. It's time to throw you two into the game, and I'll catch up with you later.
Sierra chooses us. Boom! She threw us into the battle. Bam.
Wow. You saving that one?
No, I actually just came up with that one on the spot. That's why it was so bad. I didn't have proper time to plan it. We are into the game one, though, Cubby. Immortals Progressive taking on Evil Geniuses. We already talked about how these two teams are near the bottom of the standings, even though they've been trying to break through the middle of the pack to where, this team would have expectations for itself. And even talking to Surdy, thinking that they should be a top 4 team if everything goes right.
And it's a good chance. They're catching Immortals on a slide. Also a good chance for IMT to prove they can end this slide going up against a non-top 4 team that we have in our standings. Both teams with something to prove here as we get later into the season and closer to Proving Grounds. Where, keep in mind, top 6, that gets you into the double elimination bracket. Bot 4, you have to play that do or die best of 3 against an amateur team. Never know what can happen there. So all these teams looking to take that top 6 finish as we're going to start things off. Immortals Arrow locking down that Callista.
And Surdy returning to the Gnar that he looked so damn good on last week. A Renata for Smoothie. It just does leave a couple of marksman options to pair alongside with it, whereas Immortals Progressive, now that they know what support they'll be playing into, might feel confident about locking in their support for Joey.
Curiously enough, so Renata, it's Joey's most played. This will be the first time, though, that EG, like a lot of their bot lanes, they've been taking as pairs. This will be the first time in 6 games where Renata's locked in and it is not paired with a Callista for Cowrie. As on the flip side, GP for Vital and Chad busting out that Poppy for the first time this split.
I think it's also just a good pickup for Immortals because they're denying the Poppy away from Tomio so that the Callista counter pick does not go into their hands. But an Aphelios for Cowrie, Cubby, if I'm not mistaken, we haven't seen an Aphelios in quite some time.
Aphelios, it's only been 1 play for Cowrie so far, but into Callista, you can control it with the guns, and having Renata as well, that can help you be lane dominant. So you can see EG, they're going to take away a couple of the supports that could pair up well with Callista and break this lane. And I will say, Aphelios into both Callista and Poppy, that feels really good. Those are 2 champions you interact really well into. GP, not so much, but we'll see as Mumu taken away here. And I think important to note, Seraphine's still up for both of these teams, so maybe that's a pick that Joey or Pretty can play. They did ban out that Silas. That does help the Seraphine made, as Silas has been one of the more popular counter picks into that.
No lockdown for Sligo either, with the Lissandra being taken away and
that's
a Trundle from Tomio. Now, if Evil Geniuses still want to go through the early game jungle gank plans that Tomio has been able to perform on last week, they could go to something like the Volibear once again, but the Viego, great skirmisher, not as much easy lockdown, but you can play off of strong lanes and you can definitely snowball ahead.
I think I like the Trundle ban as well, just to prevent that matchup from going over to Tomio. Force him on that Viego. Poppy can actually make a ton of plays into Viego early. So we'll see if Chad's up to the challenge, as both these junglers love to sacrifice their own games to help out their solo laners. So want to see which one can execute, as you can do so many things creative early with the Poppy. It will be the Ahri for Pretty, and Joey, choice of champion, is left. Rakan could be an option for him. It's been rather good. I don't think we're going to see Callista Yumi as Ashe. Honestly, Ashe would not be that bad this game. We could see support Ashe come through.
So now, Kobe, you need to tell me if this is our first Ashe support game of Academy, because I've been seeing it pop a lot. And whoa! What is this?
Okay.
Nico support? I mean, I don't know about lane matchup anything wise, but the combo is there. You throw a Pop Blossom into the middle of all of them. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Well.
Couple new champs coming in. We have yet to see Vex in Academy, but she did see some small buffs. Has a decent matchup into Ahri. Will be the pick for Saligo. And then the Nico. So I think that you can charge up your ult, and then Callista can pull you in and throw you out so you can wombo combo with the Nico ultimate. I think that's the way that one works. Also, Nico is a very, very strong laner. If you hit that root, it goes through minions. It doubles the duration of it. That's a good opportunity for both Arrow and Joey to harass the lane, as it is a very lane-dominant bot lane here for IMT, and love seeing some of the creativity on our first game on the new patch.
What are we calling this Callista Nico lane? Because, you know, like Callista Blitzcrank is called the Ballista lane. Is
that
this
was easy.
The what? What would you call it?
I don't know, man.
You just said it was easy, and so I was expecting.
No, I said Ballista was easy, not this one.
Oh,
this is hard.
Okay.
Yeah, Ballista is like a medieval weapon. This is just I don't know what this is.
Kiko?
Sure, we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it.
Something. Fate's Blossom.
They both throw out like weird things with like W on like it's like you have the Nico clone and like the Callista ghosties.
The Sentinels, maybe.
Yeah. So something with that.
Well,
Decoy Sentinels. I don't know.
We'll figure out a name for this new Callista Nico lane as we get ready to load up on the Rift for Game 1.
Double Trouble in the bot lane. That could be it.
Boil and double. Ooh.
Yeah.
Double Trouble.
Hey, we're working on it.
Boil and double.
Work in progress. You can see Cowrie actually opting for the cleanse this game, given how powerful that early route from Nico can be. And all eyes honestly have to go on Joey, even though we can't quite guess who Joey is at the moment, thanks to the disguise he's in. Masquerading as a second Callista, the double trouble lane.
I kind of want to see if we can just focus in on the duo lane for like the first 2.5 minutes. There might be a solo kill opportunity, or maybe even at least some spurn. Because I gotta imagine, if you have double range like that with Nico and Callista, that lane sounds so brutal for Cowrie and Smoothie.
And it's also really nice as Callista, you put that point in W. That can always really help with, you know, just making sure that you get some bonus harass on the auto attacks. Nico's auto attack range is very long. So we'll see what ends up happening in the spot lane.
Already an early ward from Evil Geniuses, scouting out where Chad is going to have his first clear. It doesn't necessarily see that he is on the blue buff right now, but they saw him when Surdy was checking and face poking over the wall. They'll see him on the Gromp when he gets over to there. So now this gives Tomio a little bit more information. Viego is very flexible in where he can clear on his camps. A lot of the times you want to hit at least 3 camps before you make any moves. But a lot of the times last week, Tomio was making early game ganks towards the top side of the map, really getting Surdy leveraged off, which is, you know, based off the way that Surdy was able to play in lane. It's a good reason why. But because of this super aggressive bottom lane, Tomio is pathing towards the bottom side of the map instead, ready to either counter gank or set up a gank on a lonely Arrow and Joey.
At the moment, EG is playing with more info than IMT as well, since that Trinket Ward did spot Chad on the Gromp. That is not known from Immortals. So now we will have Joey pathing up. We'll drop a Trinket, and then we'll actually find Tomio at this Gromp camp.
Nice triple barrel vital.
Yeah, on the bot side, we do have Joey trying to play around with that invade.
Because they have the push advantage, you already called it. Joey's just being a nuisance. Tomio isn't quite level 3 yet either. Actually,
yeah.
Wait, how is he... Don't tell me Joey stole Gromp. Is that what happened? I think Joey stole Gromp. Oh,
Joey took the Gromp.
That's what... Oh my god!
Bot lane prio, baby. That's what you can do with it. And honestly, something that's really strong about Callista, especially on blue side, you have easier access to the bot camps. And good to see IMT making use of that early, as Tomio now will find Chad. He's going to try and zone him off to make sure he gets the bot crab.
Has Saligo to pull him over as well. Pretty can't quite make it down over the bend. There's a wave pushing out, and Arrow and Joey, because they have push prio, they can collapse and prevent Tomio from getting the invade further. And Tomio, unfortunately, buddy, you got to leave. That crab no longer belongs to you. Chad has the support of both Arrow and Joey as they secure the river vision.
No. Oh, hold on.
Oh, there's still scrap in here. Gravity Gun from Cowrie gets a stun and a root down onto Joey, but the range advantage from Immortals keeps the rest of EG at bay.
EG, they are going to lose a pretty big bot wave to that, as it was pushing out against EG, so Cowrie, Smoothie, that move was not for free. Meanwhile, Surdy just sticking it out on the top side. He's got this calculated. Something that Surdy did say, I was talking about, hey, break week, what were some of the things that you feel like, you know, have gone your way, or maybe why it was a good timing for you to have the break week? And Surdy said, hey, the meta, it shifted more into top laners where I can be self-sufficient. And if I can function on champs like Gnar, champs like GP on my own, that's going to help the team have some more direction of where to attack. So it feels like this game, Surdy, again, playing that Gnar, it feels like he's kind of left to his lonesome on the top side. We'll see what Surdy can do. We always compliment Surdy for his ability to be a very strong laner. Good opportunity to show that off in a weak side matchup here in the 1v1.
Yeah, already decently ahead in terms of CS. This wave state looked a little spooky for Surdy. It's slowly... he's going to need some correcting on it a little bit. But for Tomio, because he is on the top side of the map, Surdy was able to play safely on the top side, pushing that further out. The rest of Evil Geniuses, though, after the scrap in the river, there doesn't seem like there's any big objectives or fights that we'll be seeing in the next couple of minutes. Dragon is spawned, but because of the Callista priority, I imagine that Immortals would be the ones that get to determine whether or not they want to take it early.
And I think that for Immortals, I'm curious what ends up happening with the scaling this game, just because I think Aphelios is going to be a big problem as this game goes on. But, of course, Vital is piloting that GP, and we've seen what a couple GP barrels or the Cannon Barrage can do to any immobile marksman. So I think both teams have options. The big important part, I think, is just going to be for IMT, using that Callista to not only get ahead, but also shut down Cowrie. Because if Cowrie is shut down, put behind, it's going to be tough for EG to find damage to get that first reset on the side of Tomio. So I think it's going to be really important to see if IMT can successfully attack the bot side, successfully stack up some dragons in this early game.
And I think it's good to highlight Vital because he is effectively the only person that can somewhat outrange Cowrie in the later parts of the game. You know, Barrels and Cannon Barrage can help control the space and where Cowrie is able to step up safely. Because if this, as you say, if it goes late game, I mean, Cowrie is going to be an absolute beast once we hit 20, 25 plus minutes into this game.
Yeah, and a good opportunity for Vital to show off some of that gangplank too, as 2 plays on the gangplank for Vital has not led to a win yet, and actually Vital did just blow his flash in the top side from the looks of things, as we do have a few summoner spells down. So we will end up seeing if we can have any action up top, as at the moment it will be action bot. And Rafa, as you called out, you wanted to see that first dragon secured by Immortals.
Yeah, bot lane priority from Arrow and Joey completely prevents Cowrie and Smoothie being able to step up. Tomio knows it's not safe to even try and contest on the bottom side of the map, and Callista, it's so easy to get dragons early on in the game, which is why we saw some action towards the top side of the map. It seems that...
Flash is back, baby.
Oh.
He had the flash.
Okay.
We're stopping through observers to make sure to get you guys some audio, as we got audio on the stream now. Shout out to EE. Helping us out with that, as now, EG, that bot lane. You can see some of the damage from Nico early, as, hold on.
Oh, Joey, is he going to burn down to Ignite? It is! First blood over to Smoothie. Cowrie now in the 1v1, remaining with Arrow, but suddenly, Cubby, it wasn't a 1v1 because Vital called in the Cannon Barrage from across the map.
Good map awareness from the top laner of IMT. I will say, big kill for Immortals. They're going to force Cowrie off the wave. We're going to take a second look as Joey, you get this Q. Oh, it's so much damage going down onto Cowrie, but Smoothie lands a really nice handshake, and that's what opens up EG to turn this around. Really like Arrow stepping up forward, is able to trade, honestly, in a positive manner, but that means no Cannon Barrage for Rift Herald. That's what I was setting up for. So EG have an opportunity. Is Vital. He's dead.
Oh, good God. Wait, but flash out of the wall. Woohoo! He's out of there. And he's still got a blast cone, and he still hasn't left the fight. He's ready to contribute barrels if he wants to. He's just taking the blast cone over. Surdy, just one more auto attack, and he is gone. Soligo tries to slow them in their remarks. Pretty looking for the over-deception for Surdy. He walks out alive. Evil Genius is still managing to keep this in this game and in this fight. Smoothie's now here. Doesn't have the hostile takeover. He's only level 5. Tomio looking for the Heartbreaker, but it's a flash. But it's the range damage from Smoothie that clips him out. Smoothie with the bailout, even though he lives for a second time, cannot live again. But this is a scrappy game.
A bit sloppy, I gotta say. If Tomio hits a clean Heartbreaker on the Chad, I think that EG can completely turn this around, but the fact that Chad lived so long, was able to get close enough to the turret, means that EG cannot wipe the fight, as marksmen are brawling in the bot side. Callista will win out on that, but Rafa, we're just gonna see another skirmish, as it was a 1-for-1. Shelly was not touched, is still up.
Both teams are going to return to the scene of the crime to get a chance to watch the replay once again. I thought Vital was totally dead here.
Oh, I think Surdy, they didn't want to chain everything because they knew that there was an orange. And Vital, it was a great orange flash out. Really well played by our rookie top laner, as that saves Immortals, gives them a chance. Somehow, Surdy lives too. So both top laners playing with a bit of fire. And this is the point I was talking about. Tomio has 6. Chad gets stunned up here. I think if Tomio knows that he lands that stun, he instantly chains it with Heartbreaker. Yeah. They're able to get the kill, and then they can run the fight from there. That's not the case, though. Chad was almost able to sneak out. While he does go down, his soul is far enough where it's under turret. It cannot be picked up by Tomio. It's too late in the fight for them to snowball. So it's just no contest on the first Rift Herald, as IMT, it looks like they secured it, as they were able to get back out on the map during our replay.
Oh, Rift Herald now in the hands of Chad. More than likely, we could suspect that this goes towards the bottom side of the map, continue leveraging the gold that Arrow has over Cowrie at the moment. But as you called out, even in the aftermath of the Rift Herald, Cowrie was able to get the 1v1. Oh, Pop Blossom is there. Good stasis, though, from Smoothie. It completely negates the damage. Joey's back in there thanks to Fate's call, but that just means Tomio gets a clean Heartbreaker onto Nico. What can he do with this one? He has to use the Heartbreaker to get away. Chad is now looking for revenge, and Pretty deletes him, sends it back to the fountain. Cowrie loses on to the support. Saligo is here trying to answer back against Pretty, but Saligo is left without comrades, so he's making the long trek back to mid lane, seeing if he can get out alive. This Blast Cone gives him some distance. Chad doesn't have Flash.
Always got to go the long way. He's going to have to slow down Chad, or else he's going to get bonked into the turret, as he can fear mid-dash.
Nice!
Well done by Saligo, able to get out, but hey, big turnaround by Chad. The counter gank there, the answer from him and Pretty. Talked about Pretty getting out of the lane. That was big, Rafa.
Once again, Cubby, this game is absolutely scrappy, but this time around, that fight is far more favored into the side of Immortals. They still have tempo to drop a Rift Herald down if they wanted to, but they're taking time to reset, collect some more items, and buff up their stats, continuously making them stronger. As the read right now, the fact that Evil Geniuses are answering and trying to fight them in these contests right now, Immortals, if they're the ones that are always up on stats, if they can choose the fights, then they will be advantageous in the mid-game.
I just like the attempt from EG and Saligo Tomio. We talk so much about IMT and how important it is for their mid laner to get freed up. Saligo and Tomio, they were the first to this play. So again, I think EG trying to go for this is good, but they took too much damage, and keep in mind, Cannon Barrage can help get involved, help take some of the health bars at EG low.
Yep.
That's what enabled Chad to chase down Smoothie on the back half, as it was a bonus kill going over to IMT. And who would have thought a game between Immortals and EG Academy was a bloodbath early, Rafa? Never in my wildest dreams would I imagine these two teams would fight like this.
Are you using sarcasm?
No way.
I can't.
No way.
Well, Tomio gets the clean smite onto the Dragon. Chad was walking up ready to contest there, but Dragons 1-1 apiece for both EG and Immortals. It is an Ocean Soul game. So there's some healing that can be done for the longer, scrappier fights, which can favor either team if they collect enough dragons. But as we're heading into 14 minutes here, Cubby, I want to see if Evil Geniuses slowly bring their attention back towards the top side of the map.
I think that Surdy's just going to be island this game. I mean, it's not in the GP. He can be self-sufficient, and Surdy is up 20 CS, even though he was just forced out again. But at the moment, it's all action mid. As that first Rift Herald is going to lead the first brick in the mid lane, going over to Pretty, who is 2-0-0 on his Ahri that, mind you, was so good in spring, Rafa.
Yeah, and we talked about at the beginning of the day, Pretty on the playmakers, far higher win ratio. Oh, Surdy tries to go mega. Woohoo! I almost thought Vital was about to kill him in the 1v1 with the damage, but Surdy didn't even need to go mega for the extra stats. He just takes him out.
No wallop needed. Surdy's got it with the Rang, as Vital ends up biting back against him. IMT, play goes down to the top side. Pretty caught out in rotation here, bot. As it's interesting because Pretty, this is actually his first game on the Ahri. But we talk so much about him being on these playmakers. His Ahri was so good in spring. It was almost a must ban, a must take away from Immortals. So I think Pretty, returning to this champion, has an early lead. It has been nerfed. There have been some changes, but let's see if Pretty can take over this game. He's still the member that we really look towards when it comes to the consistent performer, always making sure that IMT is in good shape in these games. Pretty good opportunity to prove that in this game against EGA.
Yeah, Pretty already using the influence of this snowballed Ahri to success. Just a simple roam over to the bottom side of the map means that Cowrie and Smoothie cannot defend the last two plates of the tower before they fall. Arrow and Joey clean it up. So now this is two turrets being taken off the field by Immortals, and that bottom side of the jungle is completely open to be set up for vision control, which now makes the dragon stacking even easier for Immortals.
Oh, Joey just going to miss out on Tomio. I know we're talking a lot about Pretty for IMT, but I'd say on the side of EG, Cowrie's going to be that late game insurance, but the top side of EG has to make sure they get there. Surdy, Tomio, they're the ones that have this early lead. if Tomio is able to find any resets in these fights, obviously that would be massive for the side of EG. He has a lot more resources on his shoulders compared to his counterpart in Chad, of course, who is playing that Poppy. So I think it's a good opportunity for that top side of EG to prove that, hey, we have improved from that break week. It wasn't just a 1 week thing. We're here to really step up for the back half of Academy as a whole.
Surdy already just making use of the priority and getting some extra damage down onto the turret on the bottom side of the map. If Evil Geniuses unlock that, then there's a way to combat against the vision that is going to be so deeply ingrained into EG's jungle from Immortals in preparation for those dragons. So as you said, all about Surdy and Tomio trying to leverage their own early game advantages to make sure that the mid game isn't a complete wash by Immortals. But Pretty, we talked about before, he has the advantage and the priority to roam down to the side lane. Surdy already jumping away. Good Gnar ultimate keeps him at distance, but the charm catches him. Is there enough damage from Vital? And Pretty, no, because Tomio is here as well to leverage that early game damage. It gets the Zonias of the stasis out of Pretty. Stopwatch from him saves his life, and the rest of EG must bail.
Very well played by Surdy, and if Vital didn't flash out, it would have been Sligo joining off the Vex ult, but they dodged the Vex ult. Now, IMT, they can collapse.
Good flash from Chad. Locks down Surdy. Tomio is next on the chopping block. Immortals taken out too. They're going to be up before the next dragon, but now this gives them priority to set up vision for that objective.
And I like the play. I like the idea from EG, but they just stuck around too long. The fact they looked on, Sligo joining off of that, Tomio went too deep, lost too much of his health bar, and bought too much time for all of IMT to rotate and capitalize off that play. Really good map movements again from Chad this game on the Poppy.
Immortals are now being able to follow up on this jungle mid duo, something that we highlighted at the top of the day, where Chad usually was the one that was looking for the early game plays and calling in Pretty to assist them, but because Pretty followed up on some of the early game skirmishes that we saw, that leveraged advantage is now bleeding into the rest of Immortals' pockets, and they are the ones benefiting off of his early game strength.
And it should be another dragon for the side of IMT off of that, as we will have a trade. EG taking the second Rift Herald, trying to get a little bit more gold in their pockets. It is a 3k gold lead now for Immortals. And again, this is a team on an 0-8 slide. They were 0-2'd by the top 4 teams in Academy. That's all in the second round robin. So they have faced the top of the table early in the season, have a good chance to bounce back against some of the teams lower in the standings now. Joey, that's a lot of damage from Nico.
Pretty is also collapsing as well. EG have to do this fast. It looks like they don't have enough time anymore. Now Pretty is looking to catch out one member here with the charm. Everfrost scatters, but now it forces Sligo right into the waiting members of Immortals Academy. Whoa!
There it is.
You called it, Cubby! Pop Blossom channeled into Fate's Call, and it gets the stun down, and it sets up for Chad to get a 2-man knockup with Keeper's Verdict, but as things are going down, Immortals not ready to really follow up, and now Kari, he's got the right guns to turn things around. The damage is limited on Immortals, inserted with a teleport. Immortals have bitten off way too much. Oh my goodness, it's a disaster, Cubby, for Immortals. Evil Geniuses fire right back.
That's 4. Tomio, 4 kills in that fight. As we talked about, EG's overcutting the bot side. IMT do the same thing top, but it was a great setup for him. Joey catching them out in transition. Buying time for Pretty to get there was huge, but they go too deep. Chad goes too deep, gives Tomio 1 reset, and that's all that EG needed to turn this around.
It was like a game of, EG have a really good play. Oh, now Immortals are punishing. Oh, now Evil Geniuses are punishing. And
that was cool.
I love that we got the seeded setup, but
Chad just goes too deep. He's in alone. He doesn't have to do this now. He can wait for his team. No one can follow up on this play. Tomio takes him down, and Tomio's the one that takes over. Oof.
Just
Roth is speechless.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of shocked how just flip-floppity we just saw the fight become in terms of momentum. Because it was clearly like, because I play chess with Josh a lot. You know how like there's a meter for like, oh, this game is completely winning, or like after this move that you've made, you're super favored. And so when EG were pushed up, I can imagine the Immortals like favor meter was like pretty extremely high. It's like, okay, yeah, this fight is winning, this fight is winning, and as soon as they go too deep, it extremely like it just flips. It's like, nope, EG are suddenly favored now, and it's crazy how needing to understand limits and respect what you got and not needing to take anything more is such a vital part for this. But this is also why, you know, players in Academy are limit testing to the odds here.
Hey, the limit testers are always the ones that that move up. There's actually a great tweet by Peter Dunn. The fact that this week, you know, Soul moving up. Soul likes to go for things. He will take risks. And in the long haul, that's going to pay off. I mean, look at Jojo Pyun. That guy was the biggest enter in Academy. And he is now the best player, best mid laner in the league.
That is... Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw back to 2021. Good old Evil Geniuses Academy days. But, you know, for this game, we're now at the 21-minute mark. A couple minutes away from the 4th dragon of the game. It could be Immortals' 3rd dragon, but off of that fight, Immortals had, before that, had about 2,000-3,000 gold lead. They were slowly inching and leveraging up, but that essential unofficial quadra kill from Tomio, he's huge. And when a Viego's this big, you just get so much time to reset and just completely lopside and undermine Immortals Academy.
And this was the bridge we were looking for. We were asking for Tomio and Surdy to step up and get Aphelios into the later stages of the game. Exactly what Tomio was able to do, capitalizing off the mistake from Chad and IMT. As now that gold lead, keep in mind it was a 3.5, 4K gold lead for IMT. It's even. Tomio is gonna, that's, oh boy.
There it is again. The Fates Blossom catches out Cowrie and Tomio. Dare I say it, Cubby, we may have caster cursed them once again, but Immortals with a great pick just in time to set up vision control. Baron is up on the table technically, and Immortals they're gonna go for it.
I can't believe Cowrie got one shot off that. It was the full combo, the Nico Callista. As the Pop Blossom is more like the Knockup Blossom, man. It just takes everyone down with these stuns, the roots, and now Baron's gonna fall with the Callista Baron take. I think it's gonna be the 4th dragon going over to EG to even the score, but that is massive for IMT. They're back in this one.
And they are beelining towards the dragon. If they can get there in time, Evil Geniuses are going to have a tough time contesting them as well. There's cooldowns down for the side of Immortals, but man, this is going to be difficult.
Fates Blossom. That's the combo.
Yeah. Fates Blossom, baby.
Fates Blossom. It's real strong. It's really fun seeing Arrow and Joey. 2 players that, you know, I've spent more time in Academy. Come up with this very creative combo, one that's a good solo queue as Surdy. He's just going to play interference.
And yeah, he's completely stalling Chad from getting into the pit. Good stuff from Surdy. It allows Evil Geniuses to secure their 2nd dragon of the game. So Ligo already into the back line. If he takes out Arrow, there's no more rest of the damage there. Pop Blossom already onto 4 members, but the rest of Evil Geniuses, they're fighting back. And this time, Tomio was not caught out at the beginning of the fight, so he gets the reset, and he gets the take over this skirmish. Final, last one standing. Pretty has already bailed. Vital's able to find one on the Saligo, but he got no more damage left in the tank. Evil Geniuses wipe Immortals.
And that fight was so split, but it's one reset from Tomio that allows for him to run through it as no one takes down the Viego. Tomio again turns everything around as Tomio last week. We said the final series, that was the best look we've seen from Tomio. All split so far, and Tomio, his mechanics, they're shining in this game as we take a replay, take a second look. Surdy again running interference, and this is where things honestly look grim. Joey lands a great combo on the back half, takes Cowrie so low here with the help of Pretty. Look at Cowrie, he's almost out of the fight, but it's just one reset from Tomio. Joey, very squishy, and Nico goes down, takes down Chad, and then Tomio from here. Love how aggressive he looks for Arrow. Understands if he takes Arrow down, there's no chance left for IMT in this fight as EG take the dragon, take the Baron away from IMT.
I think it just goes to show how knowledgeable Tomio is about the champions in League of Legends. Because a lot of the times when you see junglers come up, they are normally affiliated or just knowledgeable about like the small jungle pool, but just knowing, okay, I can use my Q on Callista to continue propelling myself forward. I can flash body slam or heroic slam with Poppy into the wall right here. And there's no hesitation whatsoever. So Tomio getting a masterclass demonstration. The fact that Immortals still managed to salvage one Baron buff because Pretty said, okay, this fight is lost. I need to save this buff for ourselves, keeps them in momentum for this game.
And IMT, they're still ahead, but I think it's a bit of a tougher ask moving forward now, as Tomio is so fed and is going to be so hard to take down in these fights, and the damage falls off for IMT. Ahri, Kalista, this is really the last point of the game where they truly are at their strongest before Aphelios starts to take over. Fortunately, Cowrie is a little bit behind the curve, but once Cowrie gets that Infinity Edge in his pockets, it's going to be a lot harder for IMT to run out these fights. So I think it's very important that IMT are able to take down some more structures, get some more gold in their pockets now, and maintain map control as this game goes on. If they lose map control again, it's going to be that much harder for them to get it back.
For Immortals, you can tell whenever they are able to set up the fights first, thanks to the vision control that they established prior to an objective, it's easily winnable for them. They can pick off the right targets, they can take out Tomio before he gets off to the races with Reset City. But when they are rushing to an objective and Evil Geniuses are the first ones there, oh, it is so difficult. So now Immortals taking the time to use this turret advantage to set up control in the jungle, preventing Evil Geniuses from even getting in.
Joey.
Oh, the huge pick from Pretty. Isn't enough damage, though. Cowrie stays alive. Good root from Tomio. Locks down Pretty. The assassination is not successful.
It is a bot inner turret still going over to IMT, so they can reset. Feel okay about that. Catch the top side as well. I like the attempt, though, again from Joey, who has been very creative on this Nico. As, I mean, Joey, with the build he has, it's Proto Belt on Nico. You are going in once, and you are dying. Until Nico gets Zanya's, it's going to be very difficult. And honestly, Joey might have to be careful about where he picks his spots, because if he picks the wrong spot, that will grant Tomio a reset. We have seen what Tomio can do with just one reset in this game.
One reset is all it takes. And then Tomio just runs these fights. Chad is chasing him to the very bitter end. How far is too much, though? We know what happened last time. Immortals chased way too far. They got a flash out of Saligo. That should be enough for them, but Immortals keep pressuring. They want more.
I think they just want to push EG to delay the bases to take control of the Dragon, as Dragon spawns in 30 seconds. But while all this is going on, Surdy, keeps on crashing waves and sides. We saw Saligo crash another wave in that top side, so it is EG just finding ways to at least take away some resources. Vital will clean most of this up, though. That feels good. As bonus gold going over to Vital is important. The Vital, again, the one champion that is really going to scale hard in the late game for IMT. As EG at the moment see the strength of IMT on the map and say, we don't want this dragon, and we'll be seeded over, and that's sole point for Immortals.
This now puts Evil Geniuses in a predicament in the next 4.5 minutes here. They've elected to not take the dragon so that they can get a few more minutes so that Cowrie can scale up. He hit the Infinity Edge, Cubby. So this is one of the strongest points of the game where Cowrie can really just take over a fight alongside Tomio. Damn, Pretty managed to get that. That was a smite from Tomio as well.
And I think for IMT, I'm curious if they want to start Baron. As I mean, it really is the only play that is available on the map right now for Immortals. Vital and Pretty both going to lose out on the side lane to Surdy at the moment. So I think the 4-1 in the trying to start Baron's good as Surdy. He's going to be bot and just trying to stretch out this map. But I think IMT, if they're able to pull Surdy's teleport, that could be a big step for them moving into the later stages of the game.
Eyes are on Tomio. Tomio has pulled off quite a numerous amount of pop-offs so far. And man, if Tomio, especially with what Surdy said, that this is a week where they feel confident that they can take out both Immortals 2-0 and FlyQuest 2-0.
Hold on.
Cowrie, good Gale Force, Pretty, looking for the charm, but it's the Pop Blossom Fate's Call combo. Cowrie gets a bailout, but it's still so much damage for the side of Immortals Academy. Tomio has to look for the resets here. This is the only way they get back into this one. Surdy and Saligo trying to buy space. Good Keeper's Verdict from Chad, punts Surdy away, and he's not Mega Form yet, so he can't get in for CC. Pretty with another great charm, locks out Saligo. It's still 4 members to 2, but it's not enough for Immortals to be confident in starting up the Baron.
But I love how aggressively they're playing around Cowrie's flash being down. The attack, the angles that Pretty and Joey are taking with the Fates Blossom combo as well have been really good and are giving IMT winning fights.
Yeah, honestly, just... I want to see...
It's a good setup.
Yeah, I want to see Joey and Arrow here. Look at this.
Oh, that's a sweet combo. Boom. So much upfront damage. I mean, it's a clutch ult coming out from Smoothie. And clutch that Cowrie was able to get his ultimate off, too, because that's what enables Arrow to be traded out and saves IMT from taking the Baron, too, as on the back half, we're going to see Chad. Nice little flash boop into the wall against Saligo. Off this charm, Chad played this fight very well, too.
These are some really clutch team fighting moments from the side of Immortals. But this game has been so exciting because we're seeing moments of brilliance from both sides here. And obviously when Tomio finds the first reset and everyone is still clumped up, he is executing and demonstrating mastery of mechanics on multiple champions as he is just possessing one after the other with heartbreaks. But for Immortals, the team play has been so damn good from Arrow and Joey. The Fates Blossom combo, I mean, this is the most exciting thing I've seen in a hot minute.
It's a new combo. I mean, I've really only seen this in solo queue. I haven't seen it played on a stage, and it's really fun to see. You know, Arrow and Joey have clearly put some time and effort into this, as it's been very clean. They've nailed every single combo they've thrown down, so it's been really good. One thing I am looking out for, though, we are 90 seconds away from Ocean Soul being up for IMT. Does Cowrie have the money, and does he base to buy a stopwatch? Because that is one way to at least shut down that big combo from IMT and make it so that they'd have to do it from fog, manipulate vision in order to pull it off. If Cowrie's reaction times are good, which, to be fair, they pretty much always have been. So we'll see if Cowrie's able to get back into base and purchase one of those stopwatches. I think that could be very important in making sure that EG can win this dragon fight.
Otherwise, Cowrie's just relying on Gale Force and Cleanse Flash.
Does have Flash, yeah. That's back.
He has been doing a pretty good job of dodging out on some initial CC, but the fact that Pretty is the first one baiting out those important spells before Arrow and Joey commit the combo, I think just goes to show the coordination and the understanding that Immortals have. Now they're looking for it once again. Cannon Barrage from Vital slows the members of Evil Geniuses down. Huge burst damage onto Smoothie. He's forced to flash away, but Surdy with the huge Meganar ultimate sets them all up. Hostile takeover from Smoothie. It buys time for Cowrie to just absolutely wipe out Immortals. He's got a triple kill for himself already. The bailout, he gets enraged. A quadra kill over to Cowrie.
A clean wipe for EG, and that's just the game. No stopwatch needed. Cowrie had access to his sums, and Surdy finds a massive engage. Props to Smoothie as well. He flashed out from a charm from Pretty. That kept him alive to get the hostile takeover off to follow up on Surdy's ult, and a clean team fight from EG. They take game 1.
Don't even need to worry about the Ocean Soul because Evil Geniuses end the game before Immortals even get a chance to take it. Game 1 over to EGA.
Oh man, I know it's out of the game. If we get another look at that fight before we cut to break from production,
so
I would love to see that as a Surdy, someone that we feel like all of EG has stepped up after the break week, but Surdy finding some of these angles and engages, it feels like he's so much more confident coming out of that break, Rafa. And this is a great moment from Surdy in this one.
Yeah, and the main reason why Evil Geniuses can turn this fight around,
flash from Smoothie.
The pace from this, just great scoop. And that distracts all the attention off of Cowrie, so he can burn his summoner spells in peace. And then, of course, the Smoothie hostile takeover from afar, beautifully comboed. I have no other words because I don't think it would just do justice. That's a beautiful moment for Evil Geniuses Academy across the board. And as you said, I think all individual members have stepped up in their own play today. I think all of them have things that they could be proud on in the first match.
Yeah, really good to see as the team. We talked about how Cowrie was that late game damage, that late game insurance, and the setup around Cowrie to just let him rip through the entire team of Immortals. Because IMT weren't giving him a chance to set up. They were consistently attacking him, but the first fight he has both sums up. The team steps up around him. Cowrie's able to step up and pick up a quad, and EG take game 1.
That's the story. Now, this is a best of 2, so there's still a chance for Immortals Academy to come back, or if Surdy will be able to get that tweet to fruition, or at least the interview quote to fruition for a week, perhaps. It's already 1-0. Let's see what happens next after this break.